and welcome to the Chalkboard. We are coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri. I am your host, Eric Milner, and this week we're going to be doing episode 2 of our Movies with Friends series in 2018. I got to sit down with my good friend Annie to talk about Lady Bird this week. I hope you all love it. I met Annie Hildebrandt through common friends about 5 years ago. Annie went to school at the University of Missouri and majored in journalism. Some of my favorite times with Annie have been at the True False Film Festival in Columbia, Missouri. True False is actually coming up March 1st, and it's a great weekend if you can make it out to Columbia. Annie is an incredibly thoughtful and articulate person and was a perfect guest to have on to discuss Greta Gerwig's coming-of-age film, Lady Bird. So, without any further ado, let's dive in. All right, so I'm here with my good friend Annie Hildebrandt for the second episode of the 2018 Movies with Friends. Annie, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
This is going to be good. I'm really excited about this. So, this is the only Best Picture nominee you've seen, right?
Yes, Lady Bird is the only one.
It's a good one. I think you started with a bang. I really like that movie. I saw it like a couple months ago, but you just saw it yesterday.
Yes.
So you're going to have to really be hot with the takes here.
I'll try.
Before we get into talking about Lady Bird, I'm just going to go over the Best Picture nominees. And so you haven't seen them all.
No, but of course I have opinions because I listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of media.
You're a child of the culture.
I am,
in
yeah.
2018 America.
And maybe the things I've listened to or read have deterred me from going to the theaters rather than just waiting for
You're 100%
rentals.
out on Three Billboards, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, you haven't seen Get Out? I just thought about this.
Okay, so here's the thing about scary movies. I am scared of everything.
Okay.
And so my philosophy is to like read the Wikipedia page and then be like, yeah, I saw it. Because I've gotten the highlights.
You have to see Get Out.
I know. That's one I would make an
must.
Exception for, I think.
It's honestly, I think it should win Best Picture.
And I'm really rooting for Jordan Peele because he's so lovable and smart and...
It'd be a good time for him to win it. I think it's a great movie. We'll talk about it more in a next episode, but I think it'd be really easy to write off Get Out as being the right movie in the right time in the right place, just with everything going on. But in addition to that, it really is just a great movie.
The thing that I'm sad about for it is that it came out so long ago. I think some of these other movies, like Phantom Thread, for instance, just came out.
It wasn't in season, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a real problem.
And so I hope people still remember how great it was when it came out.
There are 3 movies in the last 13 years that have won with summer releases.
Oh, interesting.
So it doesn't look good for Get Out.
Are they memorable movies?
I don't know.
Okay.
I only got the bullet point. Don't call me out on this.
All right.
All right. So I just want your initial knee-jerk reaction to each of these nominees. So we'll start with The Shape of Water.
Guillermo del Toro is like so unique.
Yeah.
And I've heard great things about that one. And it's not your typical Oscar nominee cast. It's nice to see Sally Hawkins and Michael Shannon get recognized.
I love Michael Shannon.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys that pops up in things.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
He's in that new Waco show.
Yeah.
Which I'm in on, even though it's kind of trashy.
Yeah.
I'm all in on it. Okay. Darkest Hour.
My fiance loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have time for this one.
I see. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
not
a rental.
that it wouldn't be bad, or not that it would be bad. I'm just like, is this really? Do I need another historical piece here? All right, Dunkirk.
I'm not made of tough enough stuff to see it.
It's
what was that Tom Hanks movie where he was on the ship and it got
Castaway?
Yeah, no, the other movie with the ship.
Captain Phillips.
Yes.
Yeah, Captain Phillips.
I feel like that movie ended and I realized I'd been clenching the whole time. And I think, honestly, that's how Dunkirk would be for me. I think it would keep me up at night. Right. I think my muscles would be exhausted.
Sure. I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
Dunkirk is definitely that kind of experience. Phantom Thread.
That is the one I want to see.
I really want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think my hit list is going to go Shape of Water, then Phantom Thread.
But I also think Daniel Day-Lewis is overrated.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
This is the hottest take of all time. Like, no one thinks this but you.
I think he's full of himself a little bit. I don't know.
Are you saying the guy who spent however many years learning about fashion and then is retiring from acting to work on fashion?
Oh, I didn't know this. Oh,
That's
my
what
gosh.
I heard.
Edit this out.
I think I'm agreeing. He may take himself a little too seriously.
Yeah.
No shots to Daniel Day.
He's like the guy for method acting, right?
So I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, next movie on this is Three Billboards.
So I do think it's really interesting that a foreigner is the man behind the writing of it.
You told me this. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
That's
so
new for
he's
me.
an Irishman, and he's written other things that kind of examine race and class and culture in the United States. So I think, honestly, that's why it did so well at the Golden Globes, because we're talking about the Foreign Press Association.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's a really good point. I saw that movie yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm ready to kind of dive in. I've been thinking about it all day and really trying to see if I loved it or if I didn't love it or if I just liked it. So trying to figure that one out.
But you are still thinking about it.
I am still thinking about it. I don't think for the right reasons, though. Next movie, the movie I've thought about for all the right reasons, Get Out. You kind of said you're out on horror movies.
Yeah, I'm just too scared of everything.
That's
so
fair.
I YouTube all my movies. I also had a coworker who her boyfriend loved scary movies, and so I would make her come in on like Mondays and recap the movie she saw over the weekend.
Tell me about Insidious.
Yes, no, basically, but she's recently
so
left, and so I don't know where I'm gonna get my intel anymore.
That's incredible. Get Out's not that scary. There's a couple moments that it's more of a thriller. There's a couple jump out moments. Did you ever see Seven?
No.
Okay. Well, I can't help you.
I know.
We might be out on this one.
Compared to your other guests, I'm going to be woefully movie literate.
I don't know if that's true. The Post.
Okay,
the old guard here with Hanks and Spielberg.
Yeah, and I'm a journalism grad.
Oh yeah.
So like journalism raised. I think it's weird that the focus is on the Post rather than the Times, because the Times are the ones that actually release the papers, the Pentagon Papers.
That's really interesting. I can't really weigh in on it because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point. I'm going to look into that a little bit more. Call Me by Your Name.
I do really want to see that.
I wasn't telling you to call me Annie. I was just saying the name of the movie.
I really, really like Armie Hammer. And
he's great.
I mean, Timmy. We'll talk about Timmy. But
we'll talk about Timmy.
That's what the kids call him, I think.
Oh, that's so good.
But yeah, I'm eager to see that one. And also, like, I think there's like a whole realm of LGBT films that I feel like woefully ignorant about. And it's good to see this one rise to the top. And I think part of that is because it's so clearly beautifully shot.
I've only seen the previews, and it looks very beautiful.
And you can't go wrong with Italy, right? Like, Italy's magic.
It kind of just lends itself. Did you see the second season of Master of None?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And even like The Talented Mr. Ripley, I still feel like that is such like a fashion moment, and Italy is a huge part of that.
Oh, that's a really, really good point. All right, so that will bring us now to Lady Bird. So Lady Bird was written and directed by Greta Gerwig, but she was not in the movie, which honestly I thought the main girl was Greta Gerwig.
Oh, you did?
Until I not before I saw it, like before I really paid attention to it. So it is starring. Do you know how to pronounce her name?
Saoirse. I looked it up today.
I looked it up today too. I was hoping I would get you. So Saoirse Ronan is Christine Lady Bird McPherson. We've got Laurie Metcalf as Marion McPherson. Tracy Letts as Larry McPherson. Lucas Hedges as Danny O'Neill. Timothy. Oh man, help me out again. Oh, this is why I brought you on right here. Is Kyle, and then Beanie Feldstein is Julie Stevens.
Do you know the thing about her that's gotten everybody on the internet excited?
No.
She's Jonah Hill's sister.
Oh, that Hill family has a lot going on. His brother passed away this year, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think that happened. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna have to edit this part out, but we'll let it slide. So, just give me your gut reaction to the movie. What'd you think?
I really liked it. A friend said it's weird to see like our youth being played out as nostalgic.
Yeah.
And it's true.
That's a new thing that we're dealing with. Yeah.
It makes me feel a little bit old. I really, really liked it. It's good to see a story about women written by and directed by a woman.
She does a really good job too.
It
doesn't. So one of the things that I thought about in this movie, when I saw the trailer, I don't think I could have had like a harder eye roll when it's like Lady Bird's my given name, given to me by me. I was like, okay, this is just not for me. This art school drama is just not what I'm interested in movies. And then I started hearing people talk about it, and I started reading about it, and everyone kept saying how heartfelt it was, and how genuine it was, and how great of a movie it was. And so my fiance and I went and saw it one night on a whim. It was playing at 7. We made the decision at 6:55 to go see it. And what an enjoyable movie. I really loved it. I can't believe I loved it.
She liked it too?
Yeah. How could you not? I feel like everybody loves this movie. I thought the way the characters were written were great. I thought the mom was incredible. We'll go into all that. But what I've been doing this year with Movies with Friends is asking 5 questions to start and then kind of framing the conversation around that. So the 5 questions are, why should this movie win? Why shouldn't this movie win? Who gave the best performance? What was your favorite scene? And then what was your first thought as the credits rolled? So Annie, why should Lady Bird win Best Picture at the 90th Annual Academy Awards?
I think, like I said, it's a story about women written by women and for women, and so it feels like this zeitgeist moment as we're like in the middle of this Time's Up movement, to give women, and not just women but young women, kind of their due for this awesome piece.
Yeah, I think what I really liked about the movie is there were definitely strong female characters, but even as a guy, I felt very relatable to it. And I think women for my entire life have had to relate to male characters and all this stuff. And I've never really been, I never had to do that. And so it was cool kind of seeing myself in Lady Bird, seeing myself in the mom in just a different way. Like, kind of flipping that on its head. Kind of talking about the Me Too movement, I think we would be remiss to not mention the fact that Casey Affleck decided that he wasn't going to present.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that move. It's
and isn't the guy who plays her theater boyfriend, wasn't he in Manchester by the Sea?
He was. I think he was the kid. The kid, yeah. Yeah. Just a really interesting time we're living in where...
Well, and even Greta Gerwig has had to publicly make statements and Timothée Chalamet about working with Woody Allen.
Yeah. We're just in an interesting time where there's a whole conversation to be had about, where do you draw the line between the art and the creator, and we go all into that. That's not what this podcast is about, but I just thought it's really interesting to see, the Me Too movement is definitely making waves. I mean, I think last year he won the Academy Award, and there was obviously the whispers, and we talked about it with our mutual friend Alex on the podcast, where Casey Affleck had been nominated for this prestigious award, but had these skeletons. It's great what a year has done for that, to where he isn't going to be there. And I don't know the full situation. I'm not trying to throw shade, but it's definitely a moment, and it's definitely important to note that he's not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
All right, back to Lady Bird though. Why shouldn't it win?
I think that the Oscars sometimes go towards the movie that has the most gravitas, or the most dramatic, or I don't know. So there's ways in which some of those other films, I think, have some of that gravitas. And so I could see that being part of it. I saw some of myself in Lady Bird and some I didn't. And so, I don't know. It's not a totally universal story. I don't know.
I think there's there's different types of Oscar bait if you go to the Oscar bait store. And there is the sort of cutesy indie movie that is sort of just happy to be here.
Yeah.
And I think Lady Bird could very easily fill that role.
Yeah.
But I will say I liked this way more than maybe Juno, which I would say is sort of in the same boat, or Little Miss Sunshine, where those were indie, cutesy, kind of funny movies that were just sort of there to show that there's all sorts of different movies, and they were never really going to win maybe, or the performances were better than the actual movie. But I think Lady Bird has a shot. I wouldn't be disappointed if it won. Like you said, I think there were some parts of me that I saw in the movie, and that's new, to be in a nostalgia act and really feel that way. So I agree. I wonder if that will help pull it through, or if it is sort of just filling that spot.
Yeah. I think as low budget movies go, I mean, Get Out was super low budget too, right?
Yeah. Get Out, I can't remember the budget, but it was super low, and it just outperformed everything. And I think Get Out is going to be, of all the movies that will be remembered from this year, Get Out is, to me, the one that I've already seen it 3 times, and I don't really rewatch movies. And one of them was to study up for a podcast, but I still enjoyed every second of it. I thought it was a really, really great movie. And I could see myself on a Sunday rewatching Lady Bird, and rewatchability is sadly not in consideration for Best Picture.
No, I mean, if you look back at a list, it's real funny.
I'm never going back to the King's Speech. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got beef with the King's Speech because it beat out Social Network, which I thought was a very poignant movie about our time. And then it's but here's one about a stuttering guy.
It is true, but when I say gravitas, some of that has to do with storylines involving youth.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Let's go to the next question, though. Who gave the best performance in the movie?
Laurie Metcalf and Saoirse Ronan were amazing.
Yeah, I think Laurie Metcalf did it for me.
Yeah.
She's such a strong character.
Yeah.
Did you see I, Tonya by any chance?
Not yet.
There's another strong mother character.
Yes.
And thinking of these two together, and it's Laurie Metcalf is maybe the best version of it, and then I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Janie.
Yeah. Don't worry. We don't have to get it right. But yeah, the mom in I, Tonya was like the worst
Allison
example.
Janney.
Allison Janney. Also on that CBS TV show.
Yes.
That was a good save, by the way. Anyway, what did you love about like those performances?
I mean, the dialogue is really well written. I feel like there's a shorthand there. The way you can hurt the ones you love the most really quickly, right? Because you know exactly how to get under their skin, and you've done this before.
That's a very good point.
And so those scenes all felt really real. But also the same way that your mother could say something to you and lift you up in a moment too.
I saw an interview with Greta Gerwig where she talks about just how every daughter has a relationship with their mother, and it's like such a different thing. And you could really tell that relationship meant a lot to Greta Gerwig, and like throughout the movie, it was very important. That was maybe the central relationship of the whole movie. Lady Bird was very close with her dad and obviously had these love interests, but the consistent, wanting her mom's approval in some ways and then also wanting to be very defiant was really interesting throughout the whole movie. I think about the scene where they're in the thrift store getting the dress and they're arguing and fighting, and then they see the dress and they both have like this emotional moment.
It's like a 180, but like I've been in that conversation, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever get in a fight with your mom about prom dresses?
Heck yes. Like those scenes, I mean, I know we're going to talk about favorite scenes. Those were for me because I do remember all that. Like I made my mom trek all over for prom dresses.
Yeah.
Over.
Let's just dive into favorite scenes since we're talking about. So you like the ones where they're talking about like the dresses.
The shopping, I mean, both of the shopping scenes were so great good. Because you, in one side of your mouth, are fighting about whatever you're fighting about or the conversation that you're having, and out the other side of your mouth, you're like, yeah, that's cute. No, it's not cute.
I think that goes back to what I was saying, where this could have just been another like art school movie that made me want to just cry, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
But there were these very real, genuine, heartfelt moments, and like the scenes that you're talking about really emphasize those a lot. I think my favorite scene though was when they're at the restaurant and they let slip that she's going to a different college, because I had completely like forgotten the fact that her mom doesn't know, and I was just all sold out on this happy ending. And then I can't remember what they say, but I think they go, oh, and like the whole, like everyone realizes, and it just takes this really rough turn late in the movie.
Yeah. But that also felt so real, right?
It did, yeah. I don't know. We've all kept stuff from our parents, and I've kept big stuff. What's the biggest thing you kept from your parents?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
I'll let you think, and I'll
probably secret boyfriends.
Secret boyfriends?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a big one.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't seem that big anymore. I got a tattoo when I was like 18, I think, and I was still living at home.
Boyfriends are temporary. Tattoos are forever.
That's probably exactly what she said, or close to it. Probably not exactly. But so I didn't tell her for 3 days, and she saw it. My mom saw it. Or no, I didn't tell her, and then she saw it, and then she didn't talk to me for 3 days. And that was like I've never had my mom just shut me out completely. Like, you're done. It was unbelievable. And so the moments where the family was seemingly falling apart, but you knew it wasn't really falling apart, was great. It felt very genuine. So as the credits rolled, Lady Bird is done. Everything kind of resolves. I think the movie's wrapped up in like a really good like little package. What was your first thought as the credits rolled? I
had like a ton of thoughts in rapid fire. So like one was, I need to read some Joan Didion. That quote at the beginning was hers, and she said it. I thought maybe it was from a book or something, but I looked it up later, and she said it in an interview because people were talking about how like free spirit San Francisco is, and so her response was, "You've never had Christmas in Sacramento," or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And I realized that that's like a pop culture hole for me, so I would love to read some of her work. Okay, and then the second thing was like, how autobiographical is this? So then I did a deep dive on Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting.
I did a couple like YouTube hits where she said like everything in this movie happened, or everything is true, but not all of it happened.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the most mysterious answer for a movie ever.
Probably like a composite of her and her friends though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So that was awesome. Third was like this deep sense of gratitude that I've lived like that age of my life and it's done.
Yeah, you're out of it?
Yeah, I do Big Brothers,
fair.
Big Sisters, and my little is 18 and is graduating from high school in May.
Oh, wow.
She's the first of her family to do that, the first of her siblings, I should say. So very excited for her, but having just seen her recently and then watching this movie, I'm like so grateful that you only have to live that once, right?
Right, that you don't have to go back through it. Yeah, I always feel that way about coming of age movies where it's like, man, it's way better to look at it on that, like, the back end rather than like when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's just such a nightmare when you're in it, and I think the movie does a really good job of sort of showing you all of life's disappointments.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, like, it showed the girl who was making all these mistakes along the way, and it also showed that life moves on. And when you're in that moment, it just doesn't feel like that. And I think a lot of teen movies can really miss that beat. But yeah, I was really surprised by how real some of the scenes were, and we've kind of talked about that. But it was real in the sense that it can be detrimental, and then it was real in the sense that, like, that's not that big of a deal.
These things will pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a short movie too. It was only like an hour and a half, and the fact that they did all of that so quick really kind of blew me away.
Yeah, it's true. It's funny to look back on that and just knowing that, like, your first heartbreak is the hardest, and it's like largely because as a teenager your, like, hormones are coursing through your body, and you've literally never done it before, like had a heartbreak. No. And so it feels so much deeper. Like, the first cut is the deepest, and then after that it's all a little bit easier as you navigate new relationships and stuff like that.
My first real heartbreak was at, I think, 22. It was just as bad as being a teenager, but I think I was a late bloomer. I think I was still in the throes of all my hormones. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny though. All that stuff really does shape you. I remember after my first heartbreak, I cried at a movie for the first time, and now I cry at movies all the time. It's like a deep chamber unlocked in me, and it's interesting that we learn all of that in our teenage years, and it's fun seeing people sort of use their, like Greta Gerwig using her own story to kind of talk about all of this.
Did Lady Bird make you cry?
Lady Bird didn't make me cry. I don't know.
I definitely did.
Which part?
The notes.
Oh, the notes were
notes at the end.
very good.
Yeah.
I really loved the relationship with her father. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a minor character in a lot of ways, but he just kind of, it was weird. The relationship with her mother was much more important in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I think for different reasons, it was much more important in Lady Bird's life. But her dad was just, like, very supportive and almost like an emotional, like, rock for her.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting because he doesn't get a ton of screen time.
No.
But she trusts him with the college and everything. It's not even the most memorable performance. Like, I can't even really, like, pick. It's been a little bit now, and I can't even picture the character, but I remember feeling, like, very warm towards that relationship.
Yeah.
What did you think about her brother and his wife?
Were they married?
Or girlfriend. Sorry, my bad.
I did think that was an interesting character.
I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, like, this really silly kind of out there thing where he, like, works at the grocery store and yells at Lady Bird. It was kind of there to cut the tension a lot, I feel like.
I was a boomeranger when my brother was a senior in high school.
What's a boomeranger?
Like, you leave out the home and then you move back home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a bedroom. I didn't have to sleep on the pull-out couch, and I was definitely not home with a partner. But
yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Again, her mom is so uptight about some stuff, and then it's like, but also her brother's living there with, like, his, like, partner.
Yeah. So that sort of resonated, how weird that is to, like, define boundaries as an adult and then kind of have to give them up a little bit before you can define them again.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I was a boomeranger as well, which I didn't know I was until tonight. I'm really excited about this new term for me. And it was weird. My mom was really cool, but it was strange, like, living back home and trying to find boundaries again. I remember my first night, or, like, it was in the first week, and I was going to stay at a friend's house, and, like, I texted her to let her know, and she's like, you don't have to let me know. Like, it's not, like, that's not
Oh,
a
my
thing.
parents were not that way.
Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to know what was up.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my parents just trusted me, thankfully. Yeah. Probably, yeah. I didn't give them any reason not to, so that works out well.
Me neither, actually. Except for the secret boyfriends, I guess, but that was long done by then.
You were long done with the
yeah.
secret boyfriends were over by
thing.
the time you were boomeranging. I didn't even have a curfew till I was, like, 17.
Oh, my gosh.
And the reason was I hadn't given them a reason to give me one.
Yeah.
And then I got, like, handcuffed, and they had to, like, the police had to come pick me up, or, like, they called my parents, the police, and they had to come pick me up.
Oh my gosh.
And then my best friend got arrested because we were throwing cups at cars, like water cups. And so after that, they're like, okay, you have a curfew now. You have officially broken the rule.
I'm, like, the opposite of that. Like, had a curfew, wanted a later curfew, asked my parents about it again, like, some months later.
Yeah.
And my little brother, 5 years younger than me, was like, Annie, they gave you a later curfew. And so all along I hadn't been exercising my right to, like, an extra half hour.
I love the idea that you really wanted something that you already had and just, like, weren't even doing it. That's incredible.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to talk about was Lady Bird's best friend, not her superficial best friend. I think in so many movies that role was 100% comic relief and just, like, not great. But the whole, because even in the preview, I think they talk about, like, how her mom had a boob job or something.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, again, sort of that's what this character is going to be.
Yeah.
It's that very stereotypical like sidekick.
Yeah, Joan Cusack has made an entire career out of
That's
being
true.
the plucky best friend.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so is she's not doing it anymore. Who was the girl she was in? She ended up being in Jurassic World as the mom of the kids, Judy something. Judy Greer? Yeah, I think it was Judy Greer. She's done
13 going on 30.
Right, so many
example.
best friend roles, and then now is kind of getting her due. I think that's good that it always comes back around. Like Joan Cusack is a very distinguished actress now.
Yes, she is.
I loved her. This is so dumb, but I loved her in School of Rock. It's just such a silly movie, but I really did like it. But Lady Bird's best friend in that movie, it was a very heartfelt thing, and you really felt for her when Lady Bird was sort of kind of becoming like in with the in crowd or whatever it was, and she was sort of left behind. It didn't feel like a movie.
Yeah.
That felt like a very real relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that movie a lot more than I thought I would. I keep going back to that. If Lady Bird won, I wouldn't be bummed at all.
I wouldn't either.
Do you think it will, though?
No.
I don't think it will.
No.
I really don't think it will. But I think that's just the Academy Awards. It's its own category. We talked about it last time, and the Grammys were just on this past Sunday when we were recording.
Yeah.
And everyone was really bummed about Bruno Mars taking home so much gold. 2 thoughts on that. One, Bruno Mars makes hits. And
he does.
And he had a great point where he was just like, there's too many ballads at the Grammys. I completely agreed with him. Although did you watch?
No, because I was at the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. You missed a really good Kesha performance. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, no. I YouTubed it.
Oh, it's so emotional.
I knew
it was
it would
great.
be good.
I'm not even
Yeah.
a huge Kesha guy, but that was great.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bruno Mars winning, it's exactly how the Grammys should go. He makes pop records that are just like suitable for everyone and then can be changed for kids pop. Childish Gambino's not going to win Record of the Year.
No.
And so I don't know if Lady Bird's going to win Best Picture.
No. If we're sticking to the metaphor, the real bummer is that Kendrick Lamar just keeps getting passed up.
He does. He had some he won some awards.
Who's an actress that's been nominated 1,000 times but never won?
Well, I mean, I think for a while there's always those people. Then they get sort of the like I think about the Coen brothers. They get nominated a whole bunch, and then they sort of get like the sympathy, like you won for this.
Or Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, the Lifetime Achievement Award. I think they did that even with like Lord of the Rings. The third movie won Best Picture because it was just like, all right, it's the last one.
It was epic in totality.
But then sometimes it doesn't feel like they do that.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars, you think would get a nod. Like I was surprised Mark Hamill didn't get a nod for his like thing in Star Wars because he's Luke, and no spoilers here, but he may not be in more Star Wars movies. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a huge bummer, especially because in recognition of how far he's come as an actor.
Oh, I was really worried about bringing back both Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill because like those aren't good actors. And I heard a joke on a podcast where someone was like, J.J. Abrams knew what he was doing by like taking Han Solo first and being like, this will be the guy in my movie. You guys can figure out the rest as far as like
hilarious.
Luke and everything. But it was really worrisome. And I thought Luke was great in the new one. Very much not a Lady Bird conversation.
No.
All right. Well, Annie, I really appreciate you coming on. This was really fun. This has been a long time coming. So thank you so much. And
have me back. I'd be so happy to come back.
We can make it happen. I feel like you and I have talked about like 4 episodes that we were going to do, and it just hasn't happened.
It's true.
Don't worry. We're going to make it happen from now on. But all right, we will see if Lady Bird wins Best Picture on March 4th. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening this week and every week. If you want more of the Chalkboard Podcast, make sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, you can visit our website, chalkboardpodcast.com. And as a new added bonus, you can even check out our episodes on our YouTube channel. If you're a regular listener or you just loved what you heard, make sure to rate, share, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen or however you listen. Our theme song is Killers, which is written and performed by Salah Rajabnik, and you can find his music on any of your streaming services as well as iTunes. That's it for the Chalkboard Podcast this week. A really big special thank you to my good friend Annie Hildebrandt for stopping by and talking about Lady Bird. We will be back next week.